to start the thermal properties of matter. Long back we have learned gravitation, and now I am starting the 11th chapter, which is called thermal properties of matter. Okay, this comes under part 2, chapter number 11. Now let me start with this chapter, which is also a very interesting chapter. It is also the basic concepts you learn in first year. And just observe this thermal properties of matter, where this chapter is of 10 hours chapter, where it is 10 hours. The maximum marks you come across in this chapter is 9 marks. Hope you understand what is the marks you observe in this chapter. Total 9 marks where you come across in this chapter. It's a very important chapter here, and also the very big chapter. In this 9 marks, how it is divided means, you already know in the earlier class I have explained about part A, part B, part C, part D and part E in the question paper, and also you are familiar with the 2 unit tests. So today you are also able to know what is part A, part B, part C and part D along with part E. So you can observe here this chapter where you come across the one question. Suppose if it is part A, if you expect 1 mark, only one question. You also expect from part C 1 question which is of 3 marks. It is only 1 question. You expect here only 1 question which is of 3 marks. This is under part C. What is part D? Where you come across part D, theory part, where in this, if you expect 1 question, only 1 question which is of 5 marks, means you expect 1 essay type question in this part D. Okay. So totally you come across 1 part D question and part C question and 1 part A question. So it completes 9 marks. And also you expect sometimes instead of part D, you come across part E, which is a problem section, where you expect 1 problem from this which is of 5 marks. So hope you understand. If you expect 1 problem, then the remaining are theory based questions like this. So either part D or part E will expect compulsory 1 standard question 5 mark, which is an theory part is essay type. If it is problem section, expect 1 5 mark problem. Hope you understand how you expect the question in this chapter. Is it clear? Sometimes they may also ask some part A, B question which is of 2 mark. They may directly ask 2 questions from part B, due to which you will get 1 5 mark problem. You need not expect 1 mark question there. So you may also expect, suppose if it is part that is B, you expect 2 questions which is of 2 marks, where it is each 2 mark. Totally you will expect each of 2 mark means 4 marks question, 1 5 mark question. Or maybe 2 marks 2 question, 1 problem. Like this you expect. So these are the possibilities you have. So all type of questions you expect from this chapter. So hope you understand. This chapter is very important in all respects. Expect the questions in all types. One more part I want to say, based on this theory you observe this. You expect the one CT question, Karnataka CT, you expect compulsory from this chapter where you can observe Karnataka CT one question. It is one question compulsory in this. Out of 60 questions, one question will be there in the Karnataka CT. Suppose you are expecting, you are writing NEET exam, there also you expect one question from this chapter. So NEET also you expect one question which is of 4 mark, here this is of 1 mark. Hope you understand this. Even in JEE mains also you will expect the question from here, from this chapter where you can explain one question from this which is of 4 mark. Compulsory in JEE advanced you will expect, but in JEE mains. One more very important point I want to say here. Now there is an online exams for JEE mains. So shift wise exams will be running, and this year 2020, one in the month of the September during the JEE mains, in one shift they have given 2 questions compulsory from this chapter. You will never expect 2, but once they have given one of the shift, they have given 2 questions from this. But in remaining shifts, you have one question, you had another question there. So please observe, this chapter is very important in all the subjects. Hope you understand the things correctly, and you have to follow and you have to read as per this text. Okay, right. Now I have given the introduction regarding the chapter, how it is, and also the marks allotted along with the pattern of questions you expect from this chapter. Okay. Now let me go for the one syllabus, what we come across in this chapter. Regarding the syllabus, here regarding the chapter in this, where you come across here, the first one you come across introduction. Introduction. Second point you come across heat and temperature. Heat and temperature. Third point, you come across here the measurement of temperature. So how do we measure the one temperature? Measurement of temperature. Fourth point, you come across the perfect gas equation. Perfect gas equation and absolute scale of temperature. Absolute scale of temperature. Fourth one. And next comes thermal expansion. Thermal expansion. Thermal expansion. And next comes in this chapter the one specific heat capacity. Specific heat capacity. Specific heat capacity. Seventh one, calorimetry. Calorimetry. Next comes the one called as the calorimetry, and next comes the change of state. Change in this you come across the change of state. The next comes heat transfer. Next comes the one Newton's law of cooling. Newton's law of cooling. Hope you understand what are the concepts you come across in this chapter. Here in this chapter it includes the first concept regarding introduction of these thermal properties of matter. Second one, heat and temperature. Third is measurement of temperature. Fourth one, perfect gas equation and absolute scale of temperature. Next comes thermal expansion. Next, specific heat capacity. Next is calorimetry. Next is change of state, heat transfer, and the last one is Newton's law of cooling. Hope there are 10 parts you have. These are the headlines of this chapter. Okay, but here we have many concepts to learn here. At the same time, I want to say here, as per this 2020, because of COVID, the one government has deducted some portion as per the PU board syllabus. So you may also observe what are the deleted portion. At that point, detailed study will be there. Only a part of it is reduced. What is it? Regarding heat and temperature, only the concepts you have to remember. Definitions. Only the definitions are required here, right? Regarding heat and temperature. Here only definitions you require here. Recapitulation I can say. Next comes heat transfer. But this is a very vast part where under this heat transfer you come across conduction, convection, radiation. But under this only the one, the recapitulation, nothing but the one you can observe the definitions of the heat transfer is deleted. Only the definitions have been deleted. Remaining all concepts are there. So you need not worry that complete heat transfer is deleted. In this many concepts we come across here and which are very important as per the one this chapter regarding all type of questions regarding 5-mark theory, maybe the problem section you have, but only the definitions have been deleted. Remaining all are there regarding conduction, convection and radiation. I understood this what I say, so please remember, you need not worry that everything is deleted, it is there. So as and when we come across the concept, I will give the importance to study what you have to learn here and remaining things which is the deleted part and inform you, you can leave that point. Okay, but as per the concept, I should explain all the things. I will explain each and everything. But as and when you require for deleted portion, I will tell you what to be deleted. Right? Hope you understand these are the things in this chapter. Thermal properties of matter. Okay, today let me just give some introductions regarding this chapter. What is the one regarding thermal properties of matter? You know, regarding the one introduction, I just want to say here, in this chapter mainly we come across the concept of heat and temperature. You may worry, what is heat? Heat is nothing but one form of energy. Heat is a form of energy. But only in one sentence I say this, but let me give an example and let me tell you how this is a form of energy. Right? Okay, I hope you will understand what I say. now let me give some brief introduction regarding this chapter. In this chapter, first let us learn some of the concepts about heat and temperature, what is heat and how heat is defined and what is the use of heat. At the same time, we come across a temperature where you call it as the degree of hotness or coldness of a body is said to be called temperature. Let me tell you how the coldness and hotness can be explained here, right? Regarding measurement of temperature, here we measure the temperature by using some scales. We call it as measurement scales. So here in this chapter we come across, we have various types of scales, but as per your PU board syllabus, you come across 3 types of scales here. One is the Celsius scale, another is Fahrenheit scale, one more we come across Kelvin scale. So these different scales are there. How you use these scales to measure the temperature. Also you learn how the conversion from one scale to another scale. These things you learn under this chapter. Okay. Now regarding perfect gas equation. So you come across some of the gas laws, where even in some chapter in chemistry also you learn gas laws. Here also we learn the one using the Charles law and Boyle's law. We also learn by the help of Charles law and Boyle's law. Those two scientists have given different laws depending on gas, and explaining those concepts we finally arrive at perfect gas equation. Okay, using the Boyle's law and Charles law, combining Boyle's law and Charles law, we arrive at perfect gas equation, where we come across one equation called PV is equal to mu RT, where it is called as ideal gas equation, also called as perfect gas equation. Okay. One more we come across the scale, absolute scale of temperature. This was explained by a scientist by name Kelvin regarding the scale. He gives an explanation and he named the scale as absolute scale of temperature. That you will also learn here. Okay. Regarding the thermal expansion, you might be observed the one blacksmiths, where he always he just heat the one, nothing but the called as the, you can say, the wooden rim, nothing but the wheel of the rim is just before it is adjusted to the bullock cart, it is heated. And why does it he heats that the rim of the bullock cart? What is the reason? You come across here where you can say the one thermal expansion. So when you just heat the substance, there arises some expansion, and that expansion we come across here, where under this again we come across various types of expansions like linear expansion, superficial expansion, one more called as the cubical expansion. So these expansions we learn here regarding with different examples, and that you come across here. So you can learn just very simple way. I can give an example. The one blacksmith always he heat the wheel of the bullock cart, the rim of the bullock cart, which is heated because before it is adjusted to the one bullock cart. So what is it? The reason behind this is when you heat the substance, there is an expansion that you can observe here. Okay. Next comes specific heat capacity. Different substances will have different heat capacities and how do they behave, and those capacities can be learned under this chapter. So different substances will have different capacities and what is the use of them in our day-to-day life, and those things all we learn under this chapter. That is specific heat capacity. Okay, alright. Regarding calorimetry, where it is a measuring device to measure the one heat. So that is an instrument with calorimetry. We learn how it is used to measure the heat, that is explained under the one calorimetry. Here we learn the concept as the conversion of energy. Nothing but heat gained is always equal to heat lost. So there is a conservation of energy can be learned here. The principle under this, where we come across here, the one calorimetry. Okay, law of conservation of energy. Okay, Here, change of state. What do you come across? Change of state means you know already matter. Matter consists of three states of matter. You already know what is solid, liquid and gases. So depending on these three states of matter, whenever you heat it, what happens to that? That condition can be learned under this change of state. So whenever you heat, whenever you cool, or when you heat for the temperature, what happens? All these things you can observe. In this we come across the one called as change of state, where solid how will be changing to liquid, liquid will be changing to gaseous state, maybe the vaporization state, and all these will learn in this condition, change of state. Now the next part comes across heat transfer. So heat, how does the heat transfers from one end to the other end? Maybe for the metals, how does heat is conducted from one end to the other end? That can be learned under the concept like conduction. So heat transfers from one end to the other end can be learned under the concept in metals. Very good examples you can take metals. All metals are good conductors of heat. That can be observed under conduction. There also we learn some of the concepts like thermal conductivity, steady state, all those things we learn under the conduction. Next, in the same concept we come across the one convection. Here you already know, during near the one beach, the wind always reverses its direction after the sunset. What is the reason behind that? Also these things you learn at the same time. You know, convection means you come across the very good concepts like monsoons, trade winds, all those things we learn under the one convection part. Okay. The next comes the radiation. What is radiation means? Sun is emitting heat to the earth, earth is emitting light to the earth. So heat and light are transferred from sun to the earth. But here we are focusing for heat. So how heat radiates from sun to the earth, where we call it as thermal radiation, and that we learn under this radiation chapter, where we also come across different scientists have given different concepts based on radiation. There we come across most of the important concepts like Stephan, who has given the law called as, and along with him one more scientist by name Boltzmann, he has also given. So we call it as Stephan-Boltzmann law. One more concept we come across under radiation, where it is Kirchhoff law. At the same time we also learn in this chapter we come across a concept like black bodies. Along with that perfect black body, and using perfect black bodies we learn concepts like the one called as Wein's displacement law. All these things we learn under radiation chapter. At the finally we also learn the one solar constant. So nothing but sun, which is having a maximum temperature. What is the one? The temperature of the sun, and what is the one called as solar constants. These things you learn under the radiation process. So all these comes under heat transfer. Okay. Now the next part comes under Newton's law of cooling. What do you mean by Newton's law of cooling means? So here earlier whenever a hot body, hot liquid is there, fluids, mainly particularly we come across fluids, and then you come across when a hot liquid is there, first of all it will rise to some maximum temperature. It will cool very fast for some temperature. After some time it slows down, and that was explained by the scientist by name Newton, and where he has used the concept like calorimetry, where it is nothing but heat lost is equal to heat gained. That concept he has used in this Newton's law of cooling. So here also we learn how this Newton's law of cooling can be explained by the law of calorimetry. It uses the principle of calorimetry, where you can observe the Newton's law of cooling. So all these are very interesting concepts you come across here in this chapter. So please observe, I have given a brief idea about this. Detailed things, studies we learn step by step, one by one in this chapter as we come across the different concepts. Hope you understand what varieties of things we learn in this chapter. These are the things to be learned. Have given only a brief outlook, nothing but the outline of this chapter, so you can observe these things in this. Okay? Okay, right. Now, let me first focus to the one introduction. by you giving some introduction to this chapter, I'll explain the one heat and temperature. Next I switch on to heat and temperature. Let me just give a brief idea about this heat and temperature. Okay. So first let me tell you about heat fraction regarding. What do you mean to say here means, I just want to give one example, that is a one container consisting of ice. Container consisting of ice. Okay, this container is consisting of ice cubes here. Okay, right. This is a container consisting of ice. Now one more example I want to give, where a cup of tea. So we have a cup. This tea is there in the cup. This, right? Okay. What do you want to say here? Very simple point. If you touch this, a container consisting of ice, if you touch this, you feel, earlier this is cold, you feel cold. And when you touch this hot tea, I say this is hot tea, right? When you touch this, you feel hot. What is the reason behind this? And both are placed on the same table. So table is same. This is the one table you have. On this table we have placed both cup of tea as well as ice cold container. When you touch this, you feel very cold. Due to what? This coldness you feel it. Sensation. You feel sensation of coldness here. When you touch this, you feel hot. What is the reason behind this? You can observe here, already we have some temperature on our body, right? As and when you touch this is nothing but, if you are touching this ice, so heat is transferred from our body to this. Naturally, when you touch this, you feel cold, right? But when you touch this hot tea, you feel hot because here again, when you touch this, here already tea is there hot here. So when you touch it, you feel hot. Here means you are observing the sensation. Sense, you are sensing coldness here, you are sensing hotness. So when you touch this, this is due to what? Due to what means the degree of hotness or coldness of a body is called as nothing but called as heat. You can say sensation of hotness or coldness of a body. Sensation of hotness or coldness of a body. Is called heat. So what you observe, sense, you are sensing this. You are nothing but you are sensing the hotness or coldness of the body is called nothing but called as heat. So this is what we call heat. And also remember, where heat is a form of energy, we say. It's a form of energy. Energy means what? The capacity to do work. So some work is done here. So this heat is a form of energy, we say. This remember, you can also say heat is a form of energy. So this is a form of energy, we say. Energy means capacity to do it, so does some work. The next point I can also say, when you are saying here this is coldness and here it is hot. So whenever there is a heat gained by a body, when you gain, here it is nothing but, here heat is gained by a body, then you call it as heat gained. Gained is said to be positive. Heat lost is said to be negative. So we explain by just when your heat is gained, it is positive, heat is lost is said to be called as the one negative we say. So here, what you want to say here is, heat, if you touch the ice, that is heat flows from our body. Heat flows from our body. So when the heat is flown from our body to this, nothing but we are losing some heat, due to which we feel hot, we feel cold here. So heat is lost from our body. Heat flows from our body to this container, due to which there is a loss of heat, so we feel cold. So at the same time, here when you stand near the fire, in front of the fire if you stand, you feel after some time some hotness. What do you mean to say? Heat is transferred from the one fire to you. So heat is transferred from fire to you means you are gaining the heat, due to which you feel hot. Similarly, so here this hot tea will observe the hotness here. So we say this is heat is nothing but heat gained by our body. So nothing but whatever the heat is there, it is extracting from it. So we feel hot. Hence we call it as, that is hotness, and this is said to be called as coldness. So we can say hotness or coldness of a body, that it is nothing but the sensation you are doing here. Hence it is called as heat whistle. At the same time, remember here in this very simple point I want to say, it is a form of energy also. Energy means the transfer of energy from one end to the other end. How does it transfer? Let me tell you one example. If you are placing this hot tea and nothing but cold ice, this is container consisting of ice and the cup of tea on the table, same table. If you observe, after that this is the one surroundings you have here. Temperature is different from this ice cold. This is surroundings, right? So what happens here? After some time, this ice will become nothing but after some time it becomes slightly, it will melt and it will become water. What do you mean to say here? Heat is transferred from surroundings to this ice, due to which this has been, there is an exchange of heat from system to surrounding. This is a system, this is a surrounding. So heat is transferred from system to surroundings, or maybe from surrounding to system. This takes place. Up to what time it will exchange heat? Unless there is an equal level of the heat. Nothing but whatever the heat it has outside and this heat, it will both will become equal. Unless it becomes equal, it will be flowing from one end to the other end. So you can say there is nothing but heat is flown from one end to the other end. Heat is a form of energy. There is a temperature difference here. Outside temperature is different, ice is different. There is a temperature difference until there arises the one equal level, and then only it will stop flowing of heat. That is nothing but that will be heat is a flow of energy, we can say. And also you can observe a cup of tea are placing here, surrounding temperature is there here. After some time this tea becomes cold. What is the reason? The surrounding temperature and this tea will both exchange heat from one system to another system. There is an exchange of heat. At what time it will exchange? Until both become equal temperature. Due to which there is an exchange of heat, and hence after some time this ice, that is a hot tea, becomes cold, but this ice cube will become, the one it will become water, or it will become, that is nothing but this will melt and it will become fluid like water. So what happens here? The surrounding temperature is there, and this surrounding temperature is different from this. So there exchanges heat from system to surroundings. Here also there exchanges heat from system to surroundings. So then you can say heat is transferred from one end to the other end. Because of this reason we call it as, there is a heat is a form of energy. So energy, heat is a form of energy. And also I said whenever heat is gained from body and heat is lost from a body, you have sign conventions like positive and negative. So these things you come across here, where this was earlier, this heat was explained in the form of fluid, where it is called as always heat flows from higher temperature to lower temperature. We say always heat flows from higher temperature to lower temperature. Heat flows from higher temperature to lower temperature. How does heat flows? So this was explained by looking to water flows from higher level to lower level. By using that concept, they have understood that always heat flows from higher temperature to lower temperature. So there you can say how heat flows from one end to the other end. So there will be a temperature difference due to which only heat flows. If there is no temperature difference, then heat will never flow, it will remain constant. So you can say if there is a temperature difference, nothing but here surrounding temperature and ice temperature, surrounding temperature and hot tea, there is a difference in temperature due to which heat flows from higher temperature to lower temperature, due to which you can say here this is a higher temperature, surrounding temperature is cold if you observe, then heat flows from higher temperature to lower temperature. After some time it becomes cold tea. But here this surrounding temperature is hot and due to which ice is very cold. So heat flows from surrounding temperature to this ice and hence sometime you can observe there is a change of heat from higher temperature to lower temperature. So this is one good example you can observe where heat flows from higher temperature to lower temperature and due to which there is an exchange of heat from system to the surroundings and this can be observed. So you can say where heat is transferred between two or more systems or a system and its surroundings by virtue of temperature difference. So you can say heat flows from one end to the other end. So you can say, so heat is a form of energy, it is transferred from one end to the other end, from one system to another system, maybe two or more systems by virtue of temperature difference. If there is a temperature difference, only heat flows. So now you have got an idea how heat flows from one end to the other end. For this, you come across an important concept where we call it as, where you can observe here the units for heat, where I can say that is units of heat. Where in this CJ system, you already know in mechanics what is CJ system. So in CJ system, unit of heat is, that is calorie. CJ unit of heat is calorie. This calorie is written like this, but while writing the symbol you can write CAL. You can abbreviate like CAL. So in CJ system, unit of heat is calorie. In SI system, we call it as the SI unit of heat is joule. SI unit of heat is joule, where it is a scientist name, where it is represented by capital G. Let me tell you how he has explained this. The one joule, we call it as mechanical equivalent of heat according to joule. So joule's mechanical equivalent of heat I will explain, then you will understand how he has explained this. Let me tell you briefly how he has explained joule's mechanical equivalent of heat. Let me tell you how it is. Where I said these are the two units you come across. And very one point I want to say here, there where 1 calorie is equal to 4.186 joules, or you can approximately written as 1 calorie is equal to 4.2 joules. Just to remember, this is the one conversion from one system to another system. We are converting from CGS to SI system. This is what you come across about units of heat. Now, let me tell you what about Joule, what he has explained. He has explained the concept like the mechanical equivalent of heat. According to him, we call it as Joule's mechanical equivalent of heat. Joule's mechanical equivalent of heat. Joule's mechanical equivalent of heat. According to him, what does he explain means? He explains work done, where he gives a relation between work done and also heat produced. He has given a very important the relation between work done and the heat produced. He has given relation regarding relation between heat produced and work done. What does he has explained according to him means? According to the mechanical equivalent, he has explained where work done is directly proportional to the amount of heat produced, and where heat is represented by Q. So, the mechanical equivalent of heat he has explained, where according to him, where W is directly proportional to Q. What is W? W is none other than work done. What is Q? That is nothing but whatever the work done you are doing, that is completely converted into heat, where work done is directly proportional to heat produced. So, they are directly proportional. As the work done increases, quantity of heat produced will be more. As the work done is less, quantity of heat produced is less. So, work done is directly proportional to the amount of heat produced. It is directly proportional. According to him, he has also given the ratio where W by Q is equal to constant. According to him, he says always the ratio of work done by the amount of heat produced is always equal to constant. According to him, where he has given the constant term as J, where the constant is represented by J, where he has given W by Q is equal to J. Therefore, you can say W is proportional to Q, where W is equal to, when you remove the proportionality, you get that is JQ. So, he has given the relation between the work done and heat produced. So, the mechanical equivalent of heat was explained by Joule, where Joule is a scientist, where he has given the one unit of heat, which is an SI unit. When you have learned, SI unit of heat is Joule, where he has explained this by using the concept, giving the relation between heat produced and work done. He has given the relation between amount of heat produced and work done. So, you can observe where W is proportional to Q, where W is by Q is always equal to constant, due to which W by Q is equal to G. This is what you learn here. So, here just now you have come across J, and also you have known the SI unit of this, where it is J. Hope you understood these things. Now, I have given a brief introduction regarding heat and also regarding the different concepts. Now, in the next class, let us learn, by the help of this, we will learn temperature.